The thing about golf is, the secret moves you think you discover are usually illusions, but this drill actually gives you a pretty high chance of discovering a real one. Hello everyone, it's Kenyu from Japan. Today, I want to share with you a practice routine I used back when I was shooting in the 130s before I suddenly broke 100. I kept doing this drill over and over again. These days, I occasionally see this drill floating around on social media, but back then, I thought of it myself and just hammered away at it. The problem I had at the time was simple. Whenever a ball was in front of me, I always tried to steer the club to make contact. That was it. Practice swings felt fine, but as soon as the ball was there, no matter what, I'd steer the club at it. My left elbow would fly, my body would rise up, and I'd either hit flat, chunk it, or produce nothing but weak shots. And the harder I tried to not steer, the more it happened unconsciously. Even if I told myself to stop, my right hand would still flick at the ball at the last second. But if I tried to go completely the other way, totally not steering at all, I'd miss the ball entirely, which was frustrating. Wait, if I don't steer, shouldn't I actually hit it better? For context, I started golf with a massive slice, driver, irons, everything. So that slice scared me so much that I'd instinctively cast the club early, steering the head at the ball. My wrists would extend too soon at impact, no matter how much I tried to hold them. This led to scooping, no distance, fast shots, and eventually, I even trained myself into an over-the-top swing. It was all unconscious. I'd literally be telling myself, don't stand up at impact, and then immediately stand up anyway. So I thought, is there a drill that would force me not to steer at the ball? Something that would make steering impossible? Turns out, yes, there is. But here's the thing. So you've got to stick with it for at least a month or two. Only then will you start to see the change. On the other side of that, you'll find a swing that lets you hit the ball farther. So let's dig in. First, let's define what steering actually looks like. From the top, ideally, we want to swing with our body, letting the club flow. But steering means the right hand gets too dominant, taking over the club, forcing the head forward instead of letting it release. That kills distance and consistency. So yes, we all know steering is bad, but the problem is, it happens unconsciously, which means the only real solution is to practice in a way where unconscious steering simply can't happen. Whenever you try to hit the ball hard, or especially when you want more distance, you naturally add tension. That's unavoidable. It's like slapping someone really hard. Don't try this, of course. If you want to shake your brain, you'll definitely tense up. So the issue isn't tension itself. It's tension in the wrong place at the wrong time. And that's what creeps in unconsciously. The right hand tightening up too much. So as amateurs, we use way too much of our arms, wrists, and fingers. We are overworking. Instead, we need to let the club do more of the work. So the goal of this drill is to quiet the bad tension in the right hand and create a swing where the club head actually does its job. So here's the trick. Trying to consciously relax your wrist doesn't work. They will still extend early. On the other hand, if you relax too much, you will whiff the ball. So conscious control isn't the answer. So that's when I thought, what if I literally took my right hand out of play? So here's the drill I practiced over and over back in my 130s. Grip the club with your right thumb and index finger off the grip. The handle should rest around the base of the index finger, not in the palm. Otherwise, you'll still tense up. So now swing and even hit balls with your right thumb and index finger floating off. And mix in tee shots while you do this. Even if you are practicing full swings, always mix in teed up balls. Teeing it up makes it way easier mentally and physically to get solid contact. It helps your confidence and your mechanics. So now, when your right thumb and index finger are off, you will notice something. The club head naturally falls behind you instead of shooting out in front. You will start to feel it drop at the top and then whip through naturally. That's the club releasing itself instead of you forcing it. And don't worry too much about setup here. You could almost stand straight up and just focus on making that teed up ball curve. Open and close the face naturally. Think of the head dropping behind your back first, then whipping back around low and left. If you overdo it, you might swing too far inside or push your hips forward. That's fine at first, just be aware of it. You can even exaggerate left side weight to keep yourself grounded. Tee practice helps highlight this feeling. Basically, the idea is lay the club down behind you. Then let it accelerate and close through impact. You've probably heard, don't lay the club off too much. Sure, if you stay laid off all the way down, you'll miss the ball. But for us adults who started golf later, we actually have the strength and brain power to over-control the club. That's why we steer it too much. So first, exaggerate laying it off. Give the club head momentum. So later on, once you're down into the 80s, then you can refine it. But when you're starting from the 130s, aiming for 100, and then the 80s, you need to first let the head move, let it work. If you keep practicing this, your wrist will gradually loosen up. So you will start to notice when you accidentally used your right hand too much, and you will also notice when you didn't. As this happens, early release will fade, and you'll finally be able to hold the angle and release after the ball. When that happens, your shots suddenly have a whole new kind of pop. So one thing to watch out for, as you groove this, you might feel like you're just dropping your arms. The most common error is letting your hips slide forward while you do it. That often comes from unconsciously dragging the club inside with your arms. So, and remember, grip the thumb and index finger off, let the head move, and focus on closing it properly. Also, check your weight shift. If your weight stays on your left toes from the top, your hips will slide. Instead, feel your weight on your left heel. From the top, fall into your left heel with the right hand quiet. Thanks to the finger off grip, your arms and club can just drop. The head will whip through naturally down by your right side. So, don't worry if you can't do it at first. That's normal. Stick with it, observe and adjust. The thing about golf is, the secret moves you think you discover are usually illusions. But this drill actually gives you a pretty high chance of discovering a real one. It takes reps, but if you set yourself up in a state where you're more likely to feel the right thing, your odds skyrocket. So add some rhythm to your practice. Mix speeds, mix feels, and always start with a deep breath. If the club head moves, your shot change. If your right hand does less, the club head does more. Alright, enjoy our practice. Thank you very much. ありがとうございました。